Hello and welcome back to the Nest, an Inside the Iggles live show. Thank you guys very much for joining us on this beautiful, September 29th, 2023. I'm pretty good at reading numbers on a calendar. Thank you guys very much for joining us. We are here. It is Jalil Williams. It is Brandon Pocris. My name is Jake Beckman. We're here to preview the Eagles' Week 4 game against the Washington Commanders. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Another great episode that I'm looking forward to. Much easier task, hopefully, for the Eagles this upcoming weekend, compared to a stingy Tampa Bay defense. Washington isn't as threatening as I would say, but we'll get into that later in the show. Otherwise, I'm doing great.
Very true.
Yes, indeed. I'm doing great as well. Spectacular, sensational, magnificent. We're going into the weekend. We're a couple of days away from more Eagles football. I got a lot of family coming over on Sunday to watch the game. It's my brother's birthday this weekend, and I'm going to be cooking breakfast tacos on the griddle outside. It's going down. You know what I'm saying? Also, again, Jake, you were doing great for so long. Jalil, come on, man.
Damn it. I don't know. It's like I can pronounce words like correctly, but names. I don't know I don't know what I got going on. Jalil. It's like I'm saying Ja. If I say Ja, but if I put Jalil, I can't do it. My brain, I got dumb brain.
You can't rub your stomach and pat your head at the same time.
Absolutely not. I can't actually do anything with my other hand while I'm doing something with the one hand. I'll leave that up to interpretation, however anybody wants to take that. I want to talk about something first. The Lions are for real, right? Am I just looking at it as Green Bay's awful? Because I don't know which one's which.
I've been on the Detroit is good wave since before the season started. I mean, even that Week 1 matchup against Kansas City, they're just growing into what they're going to be, and they're finding that smash mouth football identity. And because of the offensive line that they have, and because of honestly a guy that fits that scheme perfectly, David Montgomery, running behind the best offensive line he's had, considering where he was coming from in Chicago, that side of the ball is perfect. And then you have a superstar pass rusher in Aiden Hutchinson leading the charge. Brian Branch, who already looks like an insane safety. And, you have a good defense, a good offense. Things work out usually when that happens.
Why did Brian Branch get what looked like debilitatingly hurt and then come back into the game? What a lunatic move that was.
It's that culture over there.
You're up 17 points,
which is beautiful. Yeah, Dan Campbell's built that culture, and I'm happy for the defense coming around. After we played them in the first game last year, it was kind of like a shock, to see them operate at that high of a level offensively. Obviously, they couldn't, stop us at all, so we dropped 38 on their head. But as they started to come around, it was it's almost reminiscent of the adjustments that that the Eagles were able to make throughout the season, in Sirianni's opening year. Just seeing what you have, understanding that what you're trying to do isn't working, and then adjusting, because Aaron Glenn and that defense, Aaron Glenn, for those who don't know, defensive coordinator for the Lions, he was playing a more aggressive style of defense, a little bit too aggressive for what they had on the back end, and they couldn't hold up. So they adjusted. They went a little bit more conservative, and that's why when they started to turn their things around defensively last year, it was just a great adjustment, not being stubborn with what you want to do and being willing to do what you have to do with the players that you have. And now they went through their offseason and they added to their defensive scheme and players, and man, yeah, they look good. I tried to get one of my best friends to pick him he was doing some bets. I was like, bet on the Lions to win their division, and he was like, I would never bet on the Lions for anything ever in life. So I don't blame him for that.
Historically.
Yeah, I tried to. They
Now,
look.
are they like talking? I know I understand it's only going into week 4, or I guess it is week 4 now. Are they like a threat, like in the NFC?
I mean, I feel like they kind of have to be in a sense, because if you really look at the landscape of it, right? The South, I feel like, is still up for grabs. We don't really know, like, out of, I'd say, Tampa, New Orleans, and I'm definitely missing a team. I wouldn't say Carolina. Atlanta. I like Atlanta out of the group, but out of that crew, I don't think they're challenging the upper echelons. The NFC North, Minnesota, they're kind of having the season we thought they would.
Yeah,
a lot of one-score games flipping the other way. Now you're not having as much success. Chicago's a disaster, and Green Bay, I think, showed you that they're going to be good in the future, but I feel like they're still a year away with Jordan Love as the quarterback, because they have a lot of young offensive talent that's meshing together, and they got to add a little bit more to the offensive line, because I think some parts of it are starting to age out. And then defense, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Yeah. And in the East, it's the Eagles, the Cowboys. I was higher on the Giants. That's not looking great right now. And then in the West, I guess you could say the team that quote unquote took over, I guess you would say that Minnesota type wild card is LA, because LA, the Rams look a lot better than I personally thought they would. Yeah. That could change later in the year, but when you have a great coach like McVay, and that you start to actually hit on some draft picks again, when you haven't done that in the past,
right?
You're right back in, and then San Francisco and Seattle are good. I feel like you can put Detroit in like that 4-5 range.
Well, I would.
Maybe even
saying,
3.
Like 4 or 5 best teams in the NFC? Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I would probably, because they're going to win their division.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So that means that they're going to have be able in a playoff in the
whole playoff game in Detroit.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. Like I think that's a real possibility that Detroit makes it to a what's it called, a divisional round game. I don't know.
If I knew some Detroit fans, I'd be happy for them.
Yeah.
I don't know a single one, but I know they exist.
Now, go ahead.
I just feel like, and to get back to the main crux of your question, are they a threat? I feel like Philly's still a better matchup for them, in the sense of, I feel like their strengths kind of overtake what Detroit's strengths are.
For sure.
I feel like they are a very dangerous matchup for the 49ers. And we're going to see how that unfolds throughout the year. But, the Lions have the type of offense where they could keep the ball out of Kyle Shanahan's hands. Yeah. They could slow the pace down. And as their defense is showing, they don't let teams run on them. And it'd be a nice mano-a-mano fight between a run defense in Detroit that is just shutting things down versus one of the best running schemes in all football. So I feel like the Lions, if they were to jump any of the main contenders in the NFC, it's probably the 49ers.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if they play them this year. No, NFC North plays NFC South. My one thing that I would say could end up hindering them is something that you brought up, Brandon, their culture. So, and it kind of goes along with what we saw with to tie to Eagles with DeAndre Swift. Last year they played DeAndre Swift when he was hurt. We saw them put Brian Branch back out there when he was hurt. DeAndre Swift, very, very ineffective when he's hurt. He only had 500 rushing yards last season. He's 3/5 of the way there. Like he's much better than how they were using him. And it's because he's healthy now. So the thing is that could hurt them is we're gritty. You play through injuries kind of grittiness where it ends up lowering their ceiling. So I just think that might be something to work for. Obviously, with a rookie slot cornerback getting hurt is a little bit different than, David Montgomery, I guess, took 1 week out, but then ran 32 yards. So maybe it's not as big of a deal for him, but you get what I mean.
Right? I have 2 points on this. Number one, I agree with what you said, Brennan, that this line is perfect for David Montgomery. With that being said, I feel like it's a little bit of the same situation with us with the running back situation. Jameer Gibbs is their best running back talent wise. So I would like him to get the ball a little bit more, be on the field a little bit more. Um, Fantasy football notwithstanding, because I do have him in one of my leagues, right? But like I promise you, it has nothing to do with when I watch him run. He just seems to be more dynamic, right? They're doing what they're doing and they're winning and it's effective and all that. But if I remember correctly, like even yards per carry, Jameer Gibbs is averaging more per carry than David Montgomery is right now. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe that to be the case. The other thing I wanted to mention was, just kind of about what y'all were talking about in general about the Detroit Lions and their place in the NFC. I feel like it can come down to matchups once the playoffs actually begin, right? And so who takes out who, leaving Detroit against who to, would I be completely shocked if I saw them in the NFC Championship game? No. And if that championship game is against like the 49ers, if we don't make it there, God forbid, then would I be surprised if they beat the 49ers? No, I would not. So um, I'm with y'all all the way on Detroit. I think they're a threat. I think matchups do play a big factor in that. But
Yeah.
shout out to them in a possible home playoff game for the first time in I don't know how long. That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean they won their second game, or have they had 2 home games or just 1 home game? I can't remember. They've won. The point is that they won in Arrowhead and they won at Lambeau Field, which is not something that's an overwhelmingly easy thing to do. So yeah, good for them. But let's get into the Eagles stuff. I feel like a good spot to start. If I can find it, if I was prepared, I would have put it up already. The injury report. Just cut Jaw's face out. Let's see. Can I move his face? No, I can't. So injury report. This is what we're looking at. The people that are on it. Sidney Brown is confirmed out with the hamstring thing that he had. I think that it seemed like it happened on that quote unquote breakup that he had on Mike Williams in the end zone. And Quez Watkins is out. Nobody's really losing sleep over that one. The other one that is questionable though is Justin Evans after he came out pretty early in the game with a neck injury. That means the question is what is going to happen at safety? And that's a frightening question.
Yeah, go ask Jonathan Gannon if we can borrow Kayvon Wallace for a game.
Yeah, no kidding. They have, let me pull it up. Do you remember who the guy, he has a brother in the NFL, is on the Eagles practice squad? This is me buying time.
So just looking at their depth chart, right? So the only safety on the active roster they wouldn't have right now is Edmonds.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not great, man.
Blankenship, Edmonds, and that's it, huh? Yeah, that might be a little rough. But the thing is, at least, we're playing the Commanders. Now, I thought that the Commanders were going to be a better team this year. I actually had them finishing third in the division. I don't think getting Eric Bieniemy is not nothing, So, and I figured getting Chase Young back and all that, they'll just be playing a little bit better on both sides of the ball. And I like their skill position players more than I like the Giants' skill position players, other than Saquon Barkley, of course. So playing them, if they just went up against the Bills, who sacked Sam Howell 9 times. 9 times. They got destroyed. Now, their first couple of games, they won, right? So they're 2-1. But who did they beat? The Cardinals? And I have it right here. Who's
Broncos.
Broncos by 2, 35-33. Not very impressive. The Denver Broncos just got absolutely demolished. Yeah, that's. But when you look at that, you have to get to the safety, right? Are they going to be able to protect Sam long enough to let Terry McLaurin and some of those other guys get downfield to challenge the safeties? We'll see. Doesn't bode well when you're going up against the team that's best in the league in pressures, pressure percentage, and when we're going to be collapsing the interior of the pocket pretty much constantly. So we'll see how much that comes into effect. Hopefully, not too much.
Yeah, the guy I was looking for that they could elevate off the practice squad was Tristan McCollum.
Okay. Yeah, because I think his brother is on Tampa, right?
Believe so.
Yeah. So my thinking with the safety position, Blankenship's been playing great, and that was called on this show that Blankenship was a guy you guys liked
chalked up
heading into the season. And look, he's playing great, and you can't deny that. But with the very, very, very minimal safety depth that this roster has, on top of minimal linebacker, depth, and not exactly having the quote unquote biggest names, it's not really the Eagles style,
right?
Playing devil's advocate here, if I'm the Commanders, I'm attacking middle of the field all day. Mm-hmm. I'm not testing the outside. I'm testing the slot because Bradbury's not going to be playing there all the time. Are the Eagles going to put Goodrich there? And if I'm the Eagles, this type of game where I'm already 3-0, if I need to try something out, a team like the Commanders, before you have that stretch where you're facing a lot of tough teams, this is probably the time to do it. But if on the other side, if I'm Washington, I'm not consistently challenging the middle of the defensive line in the run game, and I'm consistently challenging the linebackers and safety in the pass game. I'm not trying Slay. I'm not trying Bradbury when he's at the slot. I'm not running at Carter. I'm not running at, Jordan Davis. I'm trying to get the ball out fast, and I'm trying to avoid the strengths of the Eagles defense. And is that going to work? I wouldn't say pretty well, because the Eagles pass rush is still very good. Jalen Carter is a do-it-all type player. Even if you don't run at him in the run game, he's still going to find a way to impact the passing game. Washington's offensive line, not exactly the best, but this is a concerning situation that we're already heading into the fourth week of the season, and the safety position is this glaring issue, not necessarily because of production, but because guys just keep getting hurt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned not going after Slay. Man, I don't know, because it always seems like Terry McLaurin kind of eats Slay's lunch. I don't know if I'm the only one who, I don't have the numbers in front of me with their matchup and everything like that, but it always seems like Terry McLaurin plays the Eagles well, and he's had a relatively quiet season so far this year, but it always seems like that McLaurin Slay matchup always is. We end up coming out on the wrong side of it. It seems like maybe he gets a touchdown or a mondo, like a 60-yard reception or something like that. But it's not. Slay has trouble with him, which is
he's talented. He's
incredibly talented, but he's being thrown. But again, he's also being thrown to by Sam Howell, who has 900 pounds of man in his face. So yeah, you might be right about that.
And I like Howell a lot as a quarterback, but the matter of fact is you don't want to hold the ball against this Eagles defensive front. And Howell's been one of the worst defenders of that in the NFL this year, trying to hold the ball and make a play, which for all intents and purposes, this is his rookie year.
Yeah.
This is not, second year, take a leap. No, this is the first time this kid's playing extensive reps at NFL quarterback. So he's going to face growing pains. He's going to take his lumps. And if he tries to hold the ball and make a play, the Eagles defense is going to take advantage of that. But if he gets the ball out, not necessarily saying, the Commanders are going to steal this one, but the Commanders offense could have a better opportunity to move the football.
You know what I want to see this game? I want to see Hassan Reddick. The cast is off. So I'm going to need him to go out there with the claw, you know what I'm saying, fully exposed and put in some work. Some work. It's time. He's been still getting a very high pressure rate, but he hasn't been getting there. I want him to get there.
So okay. Hassan Reddick storyline going into this. The Commanders this offseason, they made a move to get a right tackle. Based what it seemed like that he had his best game of his season last year. That best game of his season happened to be the Super Bowl when he was in charge of blocking Hassan Reddick. This is absolutely a Hassan Reddick revenge game, and I will not take any other thought into consideration.
What's the over on his sack total?
I don't have that in front of me, but yeah, and Andrew Wiley is once again in charge of blocking Hassan Reddick, but he's going to be doing it while standing on firm ground rather than a 6-month-old waterlogged sponge. So I fully anticipate Hassan Reddick to. I mean, it took him a while to get going last year too. This seems like a spot where Hassan Reddick really starts to roll for me.
Can we make sure we get Brandon Graham mic'd up for this game?
That man just needs a microphone on him all the time. I could. They made Morgan Freeman be a GPS voice. Give me Brandon Graham GPS voice. You make a wrong turn, he just starts cackling at you. I want that. Put me down. But the other thing talking about slot too is that when Bradbury was not playing slot, it was Sidney Brown last week. Now again, we talked about Sidney Brown's out. Could this be more of the James Bradbury slot with Josh Jobe on the side again? Like you said, if there's a time to really start trying to figure out what our options are here and testing things out, this is a good game for it. I mean, what is it? Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin. I don't even know who their third guy is. And then Logan Thomas is active.
I mean, it's probably going to be Curtis Samuel in the slot. And look, is it the best wide receiver trio in the league? No, but it's a damn talented one. So it's a good test.
Very different than what we saw last week with big Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be definitely a different thing to look at. And if they wanted to, I guess Mario Goodrich is on the 53-man roster. They just didn't activate him. This might be the game to activate him. I mean, that's what you have the depth for. It'd be weird not to. But I do believe the long-term fix for that is they're going to have to go out and trade for a slot corner.
So in that vein, who's a target right now? Because still very early. It's kind of in the vein of some of these teams that they lose a starter, but a lot of teams don't necessarily think they're out of it yet. Let's say 2-3 weeks from now, as we approach the trade deadline, who's October that target 31st. You're looking for?
And the slot corner is another one of those positions where, like, not everybody in the league is going to have an elite slot corner, right? No. So the ones that do have them are going to be hard pressed to give them up. Especially, I mean, we know how much of a passing league that it is. Like, you need that slot corner to be able to hold his own. So I don't know that there's any trade targets out there right now that are actually viable for the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if there's one of these teams that thought they were going to be good but turns out are pathetic, maybe one of those kind of guys. The problem, though, is that if you're waiting until the trade deadline to pick up a slot corner, the game after the trade deadline on November 5th is against the Cowboys, and that person is going to be going on a short week a short career with the Eagles into guarding CeeDee Lamb.
No, they will not. Yeah, we better put Bradbury in there.
Well, yeah, that's a smart move.
You would not.
The other thing that you could do though is like CJGJ, this Kyle Brown. Kyle Brown says Dawkins suit up. I mean, I have no problem with that. He probably does. They got those commercials with the old NFL guys saying they want to come back, and they seem like they don't want to. But like what the Eagles did last year,
Brian Dawkins around me, man, that makes me want to hit something. That was my guy.
Yeah, I will commit physical violence if Brian Dawkins, not to him, but to somebody, if he just says words to me, I'll just be like, I'm gonna go hit somebody
right damn now.
But last year the Eagles got CJGJ, and I believe with the Saints he was their slot corner Was he not? Yeah. So I mean, you could get somebody with that kind of versatility too. So it's not like their options to get people are limited to people that are currently playing slot corner now, but somebody that you feel comfortable with. It's a weird thing, and it's well above my pay grade and depth of knowledge.
I mean, like the easy answer, I feel like for a lot of people, has been Buda Baker, in the sense of that also is giving you the safety depth, but that once again, the Cardinals are overachieving and look a million times better than I think anyone thought they would. They don't look like the worst team in NFL history. They look like, a normal bad football team. So maybe they get a bit hopeful and don't trade Baker when everyone thought they would, but that's probably
Uh-oh. He's got police sirens. They're gunning for him. You muted yourself.
You're muted, Brandon.
Are we good?
I mean, yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, a bunch of sirens in the background. Not really sure what's going on, but as I was saying,
well, you're in New York.
North Jersey, Denville.
Okay.
Yeah. So
crime don't sleep.
Baker's probably the guy the Eagles should target, but outside of that, I mean, they're going to have to get creative, whether it's trading for a guy and putting him in the slot or trading for a safety and trying to have more versatility with 3 safety looks. Like, it's not going to be a straightforward answer, most likely.
Yeah.
The thing about Buda Baker that is making me nervous at this point is if they don't want to trade him to us, right? What percentage do you give the possibility of Jonathan Gannon, like, not the Eagles? I don't know, because why wouldn't we have him by now, right? Everybody's been knowing that the depth on the safety position has been an area of need. Everyone's known that Buda Baker is somebody that seems to be on the outs with the Cardinals, and we know that Howie is an aggressive deal maker. So we're going into our week 4 game now, and we haven't really heard anything about the talks or, nothing's been done. And it makes me feel like that maybe the Cardinals are, hesitant to trade Buda Baker to the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I absolutely have all the faith that Howie has made the phone call and says, what do you want for him or something like that. Also, I like Buda Baker because he sounds like Kendrick Lamar. Almost exactly. Which is what I learned from watching. This is the only thing that I learned from watching the in-season Hard Knocks last year, which was a tremendous amount of fun to see them absolutely kill any hope that they had. Do you guys have anything else on this defense? Is there any other things that you're worried about? Okay, actually, what do you believe? And I don't know how you want to use your best judgment on what metric you want to go by. But what do you think the chances are that the Commanders do what they did last year? Because this is the game that the Eagles lost last year, the Commanders at home, where they just ran the ball and then the defense was never able to get off the field at on third down. Obviously, the run defense now is leaps and bounds better than what it was last year. But I'm just curious to see what your guys' thoughts are with that.
I don't think it's high. But I think it's like it's a matter of, I feel like Sam Howell is going to fall into a mistake or two, because last year you're dealing with a veteran quarterback. You're dealing with a guy that, while he was aggressive in Heineke, he wasn't going to throw games away for the most part. He was very decisive in things like that and didn't always hold on to the ball. Yeah, he tried to make some things happen, but at the same time, he did his thing. With Howe, I think the Eagles are going to force him into a few issues. I feel like they're going to stifle the run game of the Commanders. Look, I like Brian Robinson. I like Antonio Gibson as a change of pace. They've stopped already, that as in the Eagles, much better running backs this season. And I simply don't think that Washington is going to be able to impose their will in this game. And I think that's the most important thing, because last year, the Eagles, whether you want to say they overlooked the game, this or that, the Commanders were able to impose their will. That's not going to happen. And I think what that comes down to is your two stalwarts in the middle of that defense and the middle of that run defense. Because with Jordan Davis playing as good as he is and Jalen Carter already looking like a potential all-pro level player if he continues his production, I mean, you're basically recreating the Georgia defense. And what was the one thing that the Georgia defense was known for? Nobody moved the ball on them on the ground whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, the chances that the Commanders beat us, no, not happening. Them being the ones to stop the streak last year, I think that's already going to be a thing, at least for this first game, right? Like, all right, we're going to have to get y'all just for that. You find anything as a professional athlete to motivate yourself, bulletin board material, all that. All right, y'all beat us last year and stopped us from going, what was it, 9-0? That they prevented, right? Okay, so we have to get back for that. We have to get back because your right tackle played in the Super Bowl and they were talking about what they did to us and shut us down. You know, we had, like you said, the guys on the front line. You beat us by controlling the line of scrimmage, something that not many teams were able to do against the Eagles last year, but they did it. Congratulations. Here's Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter as your prize, and that's not going to happen again. So with that plus the rookie quarterback going against, once again, another super aggressive front line, I don't see them being able to pull it off. I still think that they might have give them some more time to keep implementing some of the things Bieniemy wants to do and let Sam Howell grow. Maybe they'll, pick things up as the season progresses. It's not going to be against Philadelphia. Sorry, Bucko. But yeah, no, I'm with Brandon on that. It's just not happening for Washington. And then I'm gonna go back to work and talk mess to the Washington fan who was like, "Hey, we beat y'all last year," and I was like, "And what did that get you?" And to his credit, he said nothing. So he was honest.
A 500 season is what it got them. Congratulations. And yeah, just like what last week, going into last week, we were saying the Jalen Hurts that the Buccaneers were facing in 2023 is not the same Jalen Hurts that Buccaneers were facing in 2021 in the playoffs. The Jordan Davis that Washington is going to be running into now is not the Jordan Davis that we saw last year. He's just so he's just so goddamn big, man.
He's powerful.
He just grabs you and tips over. It doesn't have to be harder than that.
Okay, I found this on the web for Jesus powerful.
Serious?
He is powerful with the balance. Check it out.
Hell yeah. What did she find?
Bro.
What did she find? A really powerful, just a picture of Jordan Davis?
Bro. Nah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
2023, what a time to be alive. Thank you, Cortana. Or Siri, whatever.
No, don't say her name again, bro. Don't wake her up. All right, the other one too, the Amazon one. I have that one too, and so I stopped even if I'm anywhere close and I want to refer to it, I'll call it Lexi instead of saying, it has a nickname now to avoid it waking up and talking to me.
So, but before we move on from Jordan Davis, so I pulled up some of the PFF grades and stuff that he has. Positive run defense grade. It's already, obviously we're only 3 games in. It's already 6 points higher. He's a lot better rushing the passer too.
Oh yeah, that was his big knock last year.
So last year, according to PFF, and obviously take the PFF stuff with a grain of salt. They're not always perfect with their grades and how they assign different metrics and stuff like that. He had 8 total registered pressures all of last season. He's already at 4 this year.
That's people.
That's a leap. His pass rush grades up almost 15, 16 points. Like, it's very, very, very evident that he's in the process of taking that leap And him doing that next to Jalen Carter is just terrifying because they're both on rookie deals. And the Eagles can just build around that. And
you're gonna have to double team somebody, right? Yeah. A lot of times, a lot of lines are gonna have to. They're gonna try to double team somebody. So, all right, we're gonna chip on the edge. We're gonna double team here. We're gonna where your line's gonna fall apart is what's gonna happen because you can't clog all the leaks. It's like the cartoons where the boat's going down and you can't plug the holes. One hole pops up as soon as you plug another one. It's the same type of deal, man. And when you see some of the highlights, the film, when you just watch him play, it is so impressive how he can get full arm extension and just move guys out of the way. These are also grown men, not as big as him, but they are big. And he is just one arm sometime holding them out while he sets up himself to make a tackle on a running back trying to, run by him. Like it's amazing to watch, man. That type of power is impressive. It's impressive to watch.
I have two questions for you guys. First question is: would you have to get paid, or would you pay to get blown up by Jordan Davis? I believe I would pay to do it. That would be a ride. Would somebody have to pay you money in order to have Jordan Davis run through you, or would you pay money to have that happen to you?
Jake,
I would pay money.
Jake,
what?
It would be so much fun. That would be so much fun.
What?
To just have that guy just absolutely chuck you. It'd be like a child in a pool. I mean, it'd be on hard ground, obviously, but I would pay.
Yeah, it's so fun until you land on your rib and you can't breathe the right way.
I have trouble breathing. I'm gonna get hurt anyway.
Jake is a masochist. Hey, I just
I'm a big Dom guy. Everybody knows that.
I don't
live that life.
You don't. I'm not paying. Don't try to pay me.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying, to get blown up by Jordan Davis. Why would I want that for my life?
I'll put it to you like this: high school football, those hits hurt enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Getting a hit by someone probably 3 times the size of anybody I ever played against.
Oh.
You couldn't pay me enough money.
What a story it would be.
To do that. No.
What a story.
Just no.
So that's my first question. My second question: we saw it with Marvin Tuipulotu last week. A third string defensive lineman got a sack against Baker Mayfield. Under
real quick, Brad. You took me back when I was in high school. We're at practice. My best friend was the middle linebacker, and I was the fullback. They gave me the ball up the middle, and he was there waiting for me. And I'm 5'8", and he was like 6'2", and he laid my ass out. And, I'm good on Jordan Davis, who's much more bigger than my boy Josh was back then. I'm good on that.
It would be so fun. But my question, okay.
Josh.
So over under half a sack for the third string defensive line. So Kentavious Street and Marvin Tuipulotu. Do you think
repeat that?
Okay, so last week Marvin Tuipulotu got a sack on Baker Mayfield, and he's a third stringer for this D line.
Right.
If he could do that to that offensive line, which is to the Bucs offensive line, which is better than the Washington offensive line, to a quarterback that's more mobile and more veteran savvy than Sam Howell is, do you think that? I guess that's just the question. Do you think that this third string defensive line, the Kentavious Streets and the Marvin Tuipulotus, are going to be able to get a sack on Sam Howell?
I feel like that's so hard. I feel like that's so hard to say because you don't know how the defensive line rotation is going to work. You don't know who's going to be like. It's just
Jake's
I'm not.
I'll be fun.
It'll be fun. Man.
I mean, just to have fun with it, I'll say over.
Okay, good.
But it's like a coin flip. You don't know who's going to actually be active, who's actually going to get snaps, what the game script, what the game situation dictates. So
I think that it's more just along the lines of how deep this defensive line is really what
no,
it comes down to.
100%. But it's just like with a defensive line as deep as Philadelphia, maybe they run Jordan Davis a few extra snaps than they did last week, and then you don't get those snaps from the third. Like different stuff like that can happen.
Yeah, so it sounds like what you're expecting is Sam Howell and the Commanders to be throwing a sack party and inviting all the Eagles, even the third stringers, you're invited, bring a +1, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
They got that commercial going around right now, suffering saccotash. I don't know if y'all have seen that commercial. They're throwing all these puns about sacks out there. Actually has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but I just wanted to bring it up because it entertains me. But I'm gonna also say over.
Okay, good.
Yes, on the sack party. Yes.
So you guys are willing to say Kentavious Street and Marvin Tuipulotu get a sack. You guys are not willing to be blown up by Jordan Davis. Just wanted to make sure that we're setting boundaries and making sure that we're all straight there.
You can write it down if you want to.
I will. I'll write it down.
Yeah, I'll sign that. No to Jordan Davis.
I'll let him do it to me on my wedding, on my birthday. I don't care. I'll just let him blow me up. That was wrong.
Bruh.
I would let him
Let's keep it moving, Jake.
I would let him run through me. Nope.
Don't ruminate.
I can't do this very well. Anyway, let's go on to the offense. It is 42 minutes into this. Let's talk about offense. All right. So the defensive line for Washington is that's their best position group.
The who?
Defensive line on for Washington. That's their best position group, probably on their team. They don't have depth in that position. How do we think that this is going to be another run the piss out of the ball game, or we think that this is going to be one where we finally get to see Dallas Goedert, because it's a Dallas Goedert revenge game as well, with the face mask and in that same loss from last year. Do we think it's going to be another run the piss out of the ball game? Do we think that we're going to see some of the guys that we want to get the ball? What do we think is going to happen?
I mean, what's the old saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If I'm the Eagles, right, and I get it, the Commanders' defensive line is very, very good. It is the strength of their team. That is as a pass rush, and yeah, they have decent run defense too. But if I'm the Eagles, right, I trust my offensive line over any other defensive line in football. Yeah, they go up against probably the best defensive line in football every single day in practice. I am trying to impose my will during the game as much as I can. And guess what? If you have to switch some things up, Jalen Hurts has all the talent in the world. You have Devonta Smith. You have A.J. Brown. You have Zacchaeus, who has shown that he is a great number 3 wide receiver. You have Dallas Goedert, and you have DeAndre Swift in the passing game too. Whatever the Eagles do in this game, I feel like they can't go wrong. But I am coming out with a game plan that is like, you try to stop us in the run game, and if you can't stop us, we are just going to push you around the field the entire game.
Yeah, that no depth thing is a big deal. Like
get them tired. Get them tired.
Laying on them by the fourth quarter, they should be completely gassed and unwilling to throw their bodies as aggressively into the mix. You do whatever you want to them at that point. And if everything goes as well as you hope it goes, and by that point, we'll be running out the clock anyway. So you just kind of put it on them and make them feel you. This is our first divisional game of the year. Mm-hmm. So you'd like to win it handily, just to kind of put your mark on the division to start like, hey, we're going to run it. I said that I think that we're going to win all of our games in the division this year. It starts by whooping Washington's ass and showing that, Washington or not, divisional game or not, you know us, we know you. We're just better than you. So that's what I want to see happen. The offensive line in that run game right now is just so phenomenal. Being like number one as the in run blocking and like number one in run defense right now is just amazing for the team. So continue to play to your strengths, like Brandon said. If it's not broke, don't fix it, and that will just set everything else up anyway. Right? All the other things that you want to do, play action and tricks with the ball, misdirection, read option here and there. If they're still so worried about the run game because they can't stop it, then they're just at the Eagles' mercy at that point. So do it.
How do you guys feel about Chase Young, just in general? I don't have a high opinion of him. I know that he played well his rookie year, but I don't have a high opinion of him.
He's been hurt so damn much that he hasn't had a chance to grow into who he was projected to be. But like you said, he did have that great rookie year, so it makes you feel like obviously he has that talent there, to keep building off of. But that's the question: is he going to? Has he been injured so much already? That it's kind of slowed down his progression to where he'll be coming up on a contract extension and excuse me, and did they get enough out of him, and will he be out of the division before long because of things like that? I don't know. We'll have to see how all that plays out, but I like who he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think he's a great player that just hasn't been able to stay on the field. Like, he's shown it already this year. When he is on the field, he is a force for the Commanders on the edge. But he hasn't stayed on the field enough. And look, at the end of the day with football, and as it is with any sport, your best availability is availability. Even with what you're dealing with injury-wise, if you can't stay on the field, you can't benefit the team that you're on. But as in the sense of what he is as a player, he's phenomenal.
What year did he get? Was he 2019?
19.
Yeah, like I remember when the Commanders drafted him, I was like, damn it, dude, we're gonna have to deal with Chase Young for forever. And then he just went away, and he was never a guy that was like, oh yeah, okay, thank God Chase Young's out this game. I just totally forgot that he existed. At least that's where it was. I was like, and then this year they're like, oh, Chase Young might come back. I was like, what the hell? Where have I heard that name from before? Oh yeah, that was the guy that gave me a nightmare once.
Hey, he should have an opportunity to keep showing who he's supposed to be. Granted, he stays on the field. So he opens the first couple of games against poor teams, right, who are not known for their offensive line play. And you play against the Bills, who I'm not sure exactly how he performed in that game, but the Bills dropped 89,000 points. So I'm going to say that it wasn't too much of an impact. And now he has to deal with another top-tier elite offensive line. But after this game, they have Bears, Falcons, the Giants. So some more teams with offensive lines that are iffy can be had at the very least. He'll have an opportunity to show who he's supposed to be if he's still that guy. Because now that you started the season this way, can you do it the whole year?
Yeah, I'm looking. I pulled up his stats right here. He's 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and 6 total tackles. So I mean, yeah, it's not bad for what he's got going on. Anything? Emmanuel Forbes was their first round draft pick, 6'1", 165 pounds. If they're smart, they have him shadowing Devontae Smith. Otherwise, they're going to be having him sometimes play against A.J. Brown, who outweighs him by 60 pounds, which is a matchup that I'm really looking forward to. Last year, we saw, what's his name, Christian Fulton with the Titans, and A.J. Brown, I believe, hurt him on that one play. Christian Fulton ended up getting a defensive pass interference or a defensive
on the
holding
touchdown on the second touchdown in 2 plays.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that there's something like that that's going to be a very odd matchup. Cameron Curl is a safety who I think is pretty underrated. But I mean, none of these names, like having a guy who's underrated does not like it doesn't raise an alarm for how talented this receiving core is. I mean, is there anybody else on that team, on that defense, aside from defensive line, that like raises a flag for you?
No.
Okay.
Not but that has more to do with the Eagles offensive line and less to do with their defensive line, because they have talent. Ron Rivera is a defensive guy. And he's put together some good defenses over the years. And I think that Washington has shown an ability over the past couple of years to be in some games that you didn't think that they'd be in. And you hang that on the defense because the offense has been pretty poor over his tenure. But again, everything for him still starts with the front line. I know he likes linebackers as well, but everything for him still starts with the front line, and his front line is not good enough to contend with the Eagles' front line, and that's basically where the game is going to be won.
I mean, I would tend to agree with that in the sense of like, look, there's a lot of talent on this Washington defensive side of the ball. You know, outside of Chase Young, you got Jonathan Allen, you got
Deron Payne,
Montez Sweat, Kendall Fuller is an underrated corner. As you mentioned, Cameron Curl. But, you know, at the end of the day, the Eagles have more talent. You know, I like the likes of A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith over what Washington has on defense. I like the Eagles' offensive line to stymie the Commanders' pass rush. Maybe they get home once or twice, but I don't think it's like going to fall apart whatsoever. I like Jalen Hurts being able to take advantage of whatever the Commanders' defensive side of the ball throws at them. Flip that around. I just think that the Eagles' defense has an overwhelming more amount of talent along the trenches than the Commanders do. Skill position, I think Washington could make something happen, but at the end of the day, are you able to even get to that point because you're losing in that battle of the trenches?
Yeah, are you going to get a Sam Howell just F it, just an arm punt, a yeet, a Josh Allen-esque yeet where it's just off target and you get another Reed Blankenship interception? I mean, that's
it's let's do a basketball analogy. Not the entire offense, but the offensive line. Our offensive line is LeBron. Okay, our offensive line is like prime LeBron. Okay, so yeah, we got DeMar DeRozan over here. He got LeBron. Okay, he's really good, but we got LeBron. Okay, we got Steph Curry, we got LeBron. So yeah, your guys are good, but you don't have the LeBron. We have the LeBron line, and so that basically just puts everybody else at our mercy when it comes to the trenches, and so they're just going to continue to fall short.
Congratulations on having Chase Young or whoever your edge rusher is. Beat Lane Johnson, stupid.
Exactly. Nick Bosa.
Is that the next saying that's going to get picked up? The LeBron line?
The LeBron line.
Yeah, put that on a quote card. Okay, so do you guys have anything else to say on offense? I mean, it seems like we're all in agreement here that this should be a pretty, hopefully stress-free, hopefully a third quarter, be able to kind of sit back on your couch a little bit.
I just want to see if Rashad Penny's still breathing. You know, other than that, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, late in the game, this could. Oh, yeah, that was one thing. So at a press conference this week, or whenever Nick Sirianni spoke to the media on Wednesday, somebody asked him about how they're talking about how the Eagles play the hot hand at running back, and then because that's how Nick initially said that he wanted this that running back room to go, but he said something a little bit contradictory to that on Wednesday. He said something along the lines of they know that the play along the lines of they know the player's strengths, and Kenny Gainwell is they want Kenny Gainwell to be the bruiser. They know that he's a guy who can protect the rock and consistently chip away at those yardage. And late in the game, like we're saying, you get a defensive line tired. That's where he could break one free. And that actually did make sense to me. It makes sense to me when he said that, because go back to that 4th and 2 on the first drive and against the Buccaneers, 4th and long 1. They put Kenny in there because they're thinking that he's just going to be able to bruise and break through. Obviously, it didn't happen. But I do believe that it's going to be less of a running back by committee, and DeAndre Swift is going to be that premier running back, and then Kenny Gainwell is going to be the situational guy. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the hot hand thing anymore. I just
want them to stop acting like Kenneth Gainwell is Jerome Bettis.
That's
he's
it's very frustrating. Nick Sirianni got one good taste of Jordan, or was Jordan Howard here in 20? Yeah, he got one good taste of Jordan Howard, and he's just chasing that dragon now. He's like, I don't know if Kenny G's the guy for you, buddy. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Okay, we got a few minutes left. Let's talk about some of the other games that are going to happen that pertain to the Eagles NFC East games. The Cowboys are playing somebody. They are playing the New England Patriots in Dallas. It is a game that, unfortunately, we will have to, for the first time in our lives, cheer for Zeke to gash his former team. It's disgusting to say, and I won't say it again. The line in that game, I believe, is Cowboys -8.5. Do you guys have a pick for that game?
Real quick, as long as no Eagle fan does this after he gets a first down, then we're good. No one, don't do that shit. Okay. Go ahead.
I'd say that Patriots cover, Cowboys win.
I like that.
You gonna make me pick the Cowboys on camera? That's crazy. That's crazy work. All right, I'm picking the Cowboys too.
I think there is a chance that that New England can win this. Jonathan Gannon laid the I say he laid it. Shane Steichen laid the blueprint last year, where you just run directly into Micah Parsons' teeth, and then Jonathan Gannon did it the first time this season, and guess what? The Cardinals won the game.
Gentlemen, have you ever been heartbroken?
Yes, every day of my life.
Okay, so when you're like truly heartbroken and you can like feel the physical pain in your chest, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, yes, that's how I felt picking this. It pained me to do so.
You could have just muted your mic. Technical difficulties.
That's what I should have did. That's what I should have did. But please, I digress.
We talked about this a little bit before the show. On Monday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks are coming to MetLife to play the New York Giants. Last time I checked, it was Seattle was favored by a single point, so close to a pick'em. What do you guys have in that one?
Let's have Seahawks coming to spank that ass. That's what I have. No, the Giants are going to put up a fight in this one. They just got demolished last week. So, the whole comeback and try to right a wrong where everybody is super motivated. They've been off for a long stretch as well. So they've had extra time to prepare and get their guys ready. So they'll probably put up a fight, but I still got the Seahawks coming out and winning the game.
This is a tough one for me because everything I'm seeing is like, oh, Seattle should easily win this one. But I'm like, I just have a sneaking suspicion the Giants win this game. I don't know why, because my eyes have told me this year that the Giants don't look that great. So I am going to go with Seattle, but mark my words, don't be surprised if the Giants do win this game.
Daniel Jones is the new Kirk Cousin in primetime. Daniel Jones has played in 12 primetime games, and he has won one of them. And that was last year against the Commanders, and it ended on some ticky-tack kind of penalty. So I'm going Seahawks on that one, and I think Seahawks win it by 18 points. I think it's going to be another bummer of a primetime Monday night game.
No, I hope they can at least make it a little entertaining. I always watch games. If there's a football game on, I'm watching it. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to happen
until one team starts getting destroyed, and then I'm like, hey, we have some shows that we're behind on that we need to watch. So
this is the Giants' third primetime game this year, which is very fun.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Brandon's picking the Giants. He heard the sirens earlier, got in his head, the New York atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've ever seen like that show Daredevil, like he really loves New York, you know what I'm saying? So like Hell's Kitchen, baby. I think it's just in you.
And then the last game that we'll look at, because the Eagles do have the Saints' second-round pick in the draft this coming year. Tampa Bay is playing at New Orleans. New Orleans is favored by 3 points. Jameis Winston, revenge game.
Sorry.
I got Tampa.
Yeah. Mike, who's the Saints cornerback that always fights Mike Evans?
Lattimore. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Always is.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I'm ditto, Brandon. I'm with you. I got Tampa Bay winning that one. Saints, Jameis. And I'm still not sure that Dennis Allen is a good head coach. Like, so.
No, he's not.
I don't believe it. I don't believe in the Saints. There are some people who picked them to not only win the division, but like go to the Super Bowl this year. And
they just have an easy schedule.
Too bad you don't get an easy schedule in the playoffs. So.
And then one last one is the Toy Story game. The Fighting Doug Petersons are in London against the Falcons. I mean, it's Doug against the Falcons. That being said, I've been wrong about Doug for the past 2 weeks, but I like the Jags on that one.
Give me the Falcons. Arthur Smith, smash mouth football. There we go. I just don't think that Jacksonville's defensive front's going to be able to stop Bijan and Algier.
You might be right.
Yeah. I'm going to lean on Trevor Lawrence, though. He last week, man, embarrassing, right? And then to the Houston Texans, no less. So I'm going to say that they have a bounce back. London games for Jacksonville are damn near home games.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them the benefit in that department as well. And I'm going to say that it's going to be a tough one that probably comes down to the wire. But I'm going to say that Trevor Lawrence has a nice bounce back game. He's way too talented to do some of the things that he does. And we've seen him do great things already, right? Let's see him do it again.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Jags, but I would not be surprised if come what time, noon on Sunday, because that game is going to be deathly early, that Falcons come away with that. All right, that's everything. Do you guys have any other thoughts or anything like that? Anything you want to get off your chest?
Just my storyline that I think is going to.
Oh yes, storylines.
Yeah, the storyline that I think is going to happen. We're just going to keep hearing about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis being the new dynamic duo along defensive line, not just for the Eagles, but they're going to be known across the NFL. Like this is going to be something that carries the Eagles not just into next week, but in the coming weeks and months of the rest of the season.
So, Joe, what we're doing here is we're coming up with what we think the storyline is going to be next week, coming out of this game.
I was going to say next year, Eagles Super Bowl champions. Okay, but next week. Oh, off the top of my head, the storyline. I can go. The storyline, I think, is going to be Jalen has his coming out party this year, which he hasn't really had yet. I think it's time for him to step up and show everybody that he's still a top 3 quarterback in this league.
That's why I think this is going to not just be the Jalen, but the AJ Brown, if AJ Brown is lined up against Emmanuel Forbes, I think this is going to be the AJ Brown show. But yes, I do agree is that the storyline will be this offense has woken up. They're starting to use their pass catchers to their fullest extent.
Yeah, get a meme of like Jalen Carter and Jalen Hurts like pointing at each other like the Spider-Man meme because they're both so damn dominant, and they're both Jalen's.
It doesn't happen every single time that we drafted Jalen in the first round, so that's good.
Don't go back. Don't just look forward. Don't look behind you.
I won't. So, okay, that is everything for the Week 4 preview. Thank you, everybody, very much for sticking around, hanging out with us, listen to us talk. Some people said things that they regret, and we'll move past that. We will be back with you guys on Monday, talking about the outcome of this game. We will be doing, I think we said that we're going to be doing some kind of like a quarter-esque season report card. For the Eagles, and then for the other teams that matter in the NFC East. We'll be back with you guys on Monday. Thank you guys very much for joining us.
When's your birthday?
My birthday? November 24th.
Yeah. November 20th. Oh, all right. Jordan Davis better get ready. All right. Go Birds, baby.
That's not go Birds. See you guys later. I regret saying that. Why is this taking so long to end? It's just spinning.
It will never end.
It's just spinning. I don't know what to do. Is the clock is still ticking up?
It is.
What is happening?
Maybe
having trouble connecting. Please check your internet connection. I'm wired in, stupid. What do you want? What do you want from me?
It's waiting on you to drink that piss.
I guess. I end the stream. What is this? Okay, I'm just gonna leave the studio. How about that? How about we all just leave the studio? On the count of 3, we all leave the studio. I'll talk to you guys on Monday.
Sounds good.
Have a great weekend, y'all.
Yeah, you too.